Oh, it is absolutely a pleasure to be here with you all. While I know we would all much prefer to be in person at a magnificent location, having this live and being able to see each other face to face, we know that time will come soon. So in the interim, we will continue to use these incredible virtual opportunities to reach you. So thank you for taking the time, and thank you to Ryan and the Bon Voyage team for including us as part of this incredible event this week. So at Tauck, our mission is to inspire and change lives through travel. We have had the ability to change the lives of millions of travelers over the last 96 years, which is how long our company has been in business. We are still a family-run, family-owned and operated tour operator that is run by the third generation of the Tauck family. And I can say for a fact that the second generation, which is Arthur Tauck Jr., is still very, very much involved in the company and all that we do to enrich people's lives. Our company philosophy is how you see the world matters. As you can tell from this week's array of companies and options and cruise lines, tour operators, hotel partners, theme parks, all the different ways that you can choose to see the world, we are always grateful when clients choose Tauck as their preferred way of traveling. And I can't lie, we have quite strong Tauck addicts, as Ryan and the team know. So I will warn you that if you haven't traveled with Tauck before, once you do, you will likely want to come back because there is so much that goes into the Tauck experience, which I think you'll hear about throughout my brief presentation today. So while our ability to weather many storms over our 96-year history is a result of being family owned, family led, and always wanting to do the right thing. We offer incomparable experiences that our very well-developed team has put together by putting feet on the ground in every destination. We do operate on all 7 continents, and looking for those once-in-a-lifetime experiences, things that perhaps you wouldn't even be able to do if you were traveling independently. But what has become most important is not only how you travel, but traveling confidently. And I can assure you that Tauck has spent this past 13 months researching the safest, the healthiest, and the best way to still be able to deliver that unforgettable travel experience. Tauck is in a little bit of a different position in that we do have 96 years of history. So we have lived through some of the other most tumultuous times in our nation's last century, including World War II. So that is the only other time in our 96-year history that our company has had to pause, like we did last March when the pandemic first began. So to have Arthur Tauck Jr., who was a child at that time, his father had started and been running the business since 1925, to be sitting in Wilton, Connecticut, when they announced the pandemic and all travel is halted, to say, wow, I can't believe this company has to do this again. It really put us in an interesting position because we knew we survived the first one. Now, we were obviously a much smaller company and only a US company back then, but it's the same philosophies, the same attention to detail, and the same perseverance that has allowed us to get through this situation as well. And we are safely on the other side of this, as we have just announced today that we are officially resuming all operations in the US as of June 1st. So this is very exciting. We have had a few itineraries operate between January and current itineraries as of right now, but they've been very few and far between. So we're excited that our larger portfolio of US tours will begin in just a matter of months. So of course, one of the things you might be most interested in, what is group travel like? For those that aren't familiar with Tauck, we are a group tour operator. So you are always traveling with other guests. We do not offer an independent travel opportunity. So what is traveling in a group going to look like? As of this week, we have just recently updated our protocols based on the latest feedback that has come from the most important sources and leading experts. We have now been able to state that clients that travel with Tauck can either be fully vaccinated or get a negative COVID PCR test 5 days prior to the start of your Tauck journey. Last week, if we were doing this, it would have been everybody is required to show a negative COVID test. But thanks to the latest updates from the CDC, we have now been able to add that fully vaccinated clients are able to now travel with us. We realize that there is a population under 16 where vaccines may not be available. So we have tools in order to help you with knowing where to get any children that are traveling those PCR tests. I also want you to know that our Tauck field staff have been rigorously trained in all of the latest health and safety protocols. Our supplier partners across the globe are taking it so seriously, and some of them have already been operating, like our riverboat partner, Skilla, who Ryan knows well. They actually started operating last June. They were the very first tour riverboat cruise line to start operating for European clients. And so we know that they can deliver the safest experience with all the certain precautions in place. So from the hotels to the museums, to the parks, to every place that you will visit with Tauck, we assure you that we are taking the greatest care and concern when it comes to making sure that your travel is safe. And when it comes to Tauck, small is big in that we offer many very small group options on our travels. So you will never travel on a land tour with more than 38 guests. And our riverboats carry a maximum of just 130 passengers. So small is big. So as I mentioned, we are on all 7 continents. And while we aren't able to bring travelers to all 7 of those continents right now, we are very excited to tell you that we can in the future bring you to any of those bucket list destinations. We offer our land journeys, which are our Tauck World Discovery Tours. These are our multimodal journeys across North America, South and Latin America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, and New Zealand. We also have our Bridges brand, which again, Ryan is very familiar with. I so enjoyed traveling with you, Ryan, and your family, meeting the kids and your beautiful wife on a Bridges river cruise. And then we have our Bridges is, of course, just for family travel, and it is for the generations, multiple generations to travel together and see the world. Then we have our small ship cruising brand, which is a selection of small yacht and expedition vessels that take you to places that are best accessed by land, by sea, not by land perhaps. And then we also have our river cruises as well for all people trying to explore the joys of Europe. So when you travel with Tauck, you will always have a Tauck director, as we call them. They're also known as tour guides, but we call them Tauck directors. They are all employees of our company, and they are probably some of the best trained guides in the industry. They go through rigorous training and very hard vetting to even be employed by Tauck because the expectation level is so high. I will also mention that we have an over 55% repeat rate. So people have a wonderful experience with a tour director and they expect their next few Tauck journeys to live up to that. I was a tour director for a short period of time, and I can officially say I studied harder to guide my tours in Yellowstone and the Canadian Maritimes than I probably did in college. And my parents never enjoyed hearing that, but it was the honest truth. And I still felt like I wasn't scraping the surface of all that I needed to know to run that tour. So you will be in wonderful hands with our Tauck directors on every journey, whether it is a land tour or a cruise. You will also stay in the finest accommodations, and we pick our hotels and all of our accommodations based on quality, service, and location, giving you the access that you deserve when you are on vacation, staying right on the beach with ocean view rooms while in Hawaii, and staying on the rim of the Grand Canyon in Yellowstone so that you can enjoy that sunset and that sunrise, not missing out on some of those unforgettable moments. So no matter whether you're traveling domestically or internationally, where we use the finest hotels in all of the world, you are sure to enjoy where you stay when you are traveling with Tauck. I will also say that we are virtually all inclusive on all of our programs, in that all of your sightseeing, all of your transportation once you are on tour, of course, your hotels, those, and all of your meals, majority of your meals are all included. On many of our water products, everything is included, like all of your meals, even gratuities to the ship staff and the Tauck guides. Now, we do recommend that you tip your Tauck guides on land journeys, because much like a waiter or a waitress, we want you to pay them based on the service, and we give you recommendations on what to tip. But virtually every other cost is included in that one upfront price, offering great value. Now, long before COVID, long before we had any idea of what was going to transpire in 2020, we were looking ahead to our 100th anniversary, which at that time was going to be in 6 years. And we really wanted to evolve the way we were doing our land journeys. You know, when you've been doing something the same way for a long time and it's successful, you might say, well, why fix what's not broken? But the one thing about Tauck is that no matter how long we've been around, we've always wanted to be better and better still. So a few things that we wanted to do was add more small group departures. These are the same exact itinerary that you would be traveling on, but with no more than 24 guests. Fewer meaning less people on the tour, giving you more time to connect with the destination, with the guides, and your fellow travel companions. We've always been offering choice and flexibility on many of our cruises. You can wake up on your riverboat and decide which of the tours you want to participate. Do you want to do that bike ride along the Seine? Do you want to go and take that hike up to the castle on the Rhine? But we weren't as flexible on land, so we are excited now, as we're renewing our land journeys again, to offer that same choice and flexibility day by day on your land journeys. We're adding more local guides to give you an even deeper appreciation of each destination. And we are also excited to launch something new that has come out of these last 13 months, is something we are calling private departures. Private departures is the most comfortable way for you to travel with people that you know and trust. Again, on the same published Tauck itinerary, but it is in groups of 10 to 20 travelers. This is the smallest number of people we've ever had on a Tauck journey, and it is ideal for people that, again, feel most comfortable traveling with those that they know, love, and trust. Whether it's a multi-generational family getting back out there for the first time in 2 or maybe 3 years, and perhaps maybe there's concern, you know, about those that still may not be vaccinated. It's ideal for multiple couples, a group of solo travelers to come together. No matter what the scenario is, you are getting the Tauck experience just for you and your family and friends. We will also throw in a free hotel night to your tour at the end or beginning of your journey, whichever you choose, to give you more time in that destination. And we also offer savings on land journeys for solo travelers. I myself travel alone, and I know that the cost of the hotel room can be the same, if not more expensive, than if I were to be traveling with someone else in the room. So we try and give a little bit of a reduction in the cost of that single supplement on land journeys. And on river cruise we entirely waive that single supplement in a Category 1 cabin. They sell out very quickly, but they definitely are a great value. So this is a very exciting picture. You might not be as excited as we are, but this was actually taken by a travel advisor whose office is in Savannah, Georgia, and she had been working in her office all day and was walking down the street and saw the Tauck motor coach parked on the street as we are currently operating our Southern Charms, Charleston and Savannah tour. So she snapped these pictures, put it up on social media, and said, what a beautiful sight to see a Tauck motor coach back on the road again. So it still gives me goosebumps knowing that, as I'll say, the wheels on the bus are going round and round with Tauck passengers again. And we look forward to having many more coaches across the US and eventually other destinations as well. So what I thought I would do today was talk a little bit about where we have space and availability if you want to travel in 2021. We are obviously seeing the same trends that everybody across the travel industry is seeing, that once people are getting their vaccine, they're feeling more comfortable about making those future travel plans and wanting to travel as soon as possible. One destination that might be appealing is Hawaii. Perhaps you want that tropical, enjoyable, fun, exotic destination, but you want to stay right here in the US. We have been operating our Hawaii journey for probably 70 of our 96 years. It is a 4-island journey. We include the flights in between the islands, and you stay at all magnificent 5-star hotels with ocean view rooms at every property. We will also stay at the very, very famous Royal Hawaiian Hotel, also known as the Pink Palace, which was actually built in 1928 and is a landmark of Hawaii. And you will also take an outrigger ride along Waikiki Beach, as well as enjoying a sunset catamaran ride on the beautiful island of Kauai. Now, as I said, we typically include all the experiences in all of our tours. However, this does offer an optional helicopter journey if you should so choose. You would do that at the time of booking or before you depart. It is not something that is booked on the tour. Alaska has been quite a challenge for all of us this year. With the announcement of the closure of the ports in Canada, it has significantly impacted the Alaska cruise season, but we are excited to be offering a Bridges family land journey, but this tour would be perfectly appropriate for any travelers. So this is a 1-week journey that will operate June, July, and August of this year. It includes flight seeing to Denali National Park. You also get to meet the beautiful puppies that may someday become the future Iditarod sled dogs. And you still get the opportunity to get on the water and see those magnificent glaciers that Alaska is so well known for. So if Alaska is on your bucket list, we can get you there on land, and I assure you, you'll have an amazing experience. If New England is on your bucket list and you'd like to get away this summer or fall, we have our Cape Cod, the islands, and Newport, another journey that we have had for decades and decades. This will take you round trip Boston through Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and you will do both Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, and Cape Cod. You will get to visit the famous Breakers in Newport, Rhode Island, one of the most extravagant Gilded Age mansions you'll ever see. You'll get a sightseeing cruise of Newport Harbor and the Narragansett Bay. And what trip to Cape Cod would be complete without a whale watching cruise? So perhaps the boat might not be quite that crowded. These were obviously pre-COVID times. But add to that all the lobster you could wish to eat 3 meals a day. And that is going to be an incredible journey either this summer or fall in New England. Now, Tauck is very, very well known for our national park journeys, as we've been taking guests to the national park since that very first tour that Arthur Sr. operated in 1925. And minus our two pauses in history, we've operated consecutively since the start of our operations. So the national parks with Tauck are very, very special. It's all about access to people and places you couldn't get if you were on your own. You will always be staying in those national park lodges. We really offer some incredible itineraries that other companies might not offer. And something that makes it very, very special is our exclusive partnership with Ken Burns. I would imagine you've probably seen one, if not many, of his incredible documentaries. And Ken at first said no, because he's very cautious of protecting his brand, his content, and all the research that he's done to create these documentaries. But after sending him on a Tauck trip and showing him what the Tauck experience is like, he called us back and said, you know what, Tauck? We are kindred spirits, and I want to do this with you. And we've just re-signed, I think, our third contract with him, and probably going into our 11th year of partnership with Ken, where he has added video vignettes that you will see on your Tauck journey that will never be seen by anybody else ever, as he's creating these videos just for Tauck. He and his business partner in that picture, the man in red, also help create and build specific itineraries that perhaps we might not have thought of. One of which was Yellowstone in winter, which was the very first tour that we operated at the start of 2021 and operated for all of January and February. And people got to see the incredible Yellowstone wolves while being in the park with basically just themselves. So an incredible experience, and we would love to have you on one of our US National Park tours, which will again begin in June of this year. I just want to plug Bridges one more time, because boy, have families been so affected through all of this. Some families might not need more time together, but many families may have had to be apart for a very long time. And I know those that are getting vaccinated are most excited to probably see children and grandchildren that they haven't seen in some time. So take the opportunity to talk with your families about where you might want to travel and when you might be ready to travel together as a family, perhaps on one of our Bridges journeys. With that, I will end with our show special, which is a complimentary pre or post hotel night with any 2021 or 2022 Tauck journey for anybody that is new to traveling with Tauck. Without getting into too many details, if you have traveled with Tauck before and you are scheduled to travel or planning to travel next year, you would get our past passenger benefit, which is called the gift of time. But we encourage you to contact your Bon Voyage advisor for more information on either of those two promotions. And with that, Ryan, I think I was right on time, and I will turn it back to you.